Amex. Arsenal have drawn with Brighton for the second time this season, and Liverpool can now move 8 points clear of them with a win tomorrow and winning their game in hand. I mean, Arsenal simply didn't have any answers in that second half. It wasn't good enough from them. They didn't really ask enough questions, and I think a conversation needs to be had from Mikel Arteta. His in-game management seemed a little bit all over the place. Should Martin Odegaard have started? I think it's fair to say that Arsenal probably have two world-class players when it comes to offensive positions. And with one of them out, long-term in Bukayo Saka, surely they need to make sure that Martin Odegaard is starting. They do not have a deep enough squad. Bringing in a player like Mikel Merino, who is decent, he is fine. For what he does, he is okay. But he doesn't have that unpredictability. He doesn't have that mercurial talent. He doesn't have that flair. And Arsenal basically ran out of answers. They were stuttering. They asked a few questions of Brighton, but there really wasn't enough for them there. It's a terrible day for Arsenal, really. But I think that they can feel genuinely aggrieved about that penalty. I really do want to hear any Arsenal fans' thoughts on that. 03717 223344. We're going to go straight to the phone lines now. We're going to talk to Richard, a Tottenham fan. Richard, Ange Postecoglou still in a job?
Hi, good evening. Happy New Year to you, Rory. Is Ange still in the job? Yes, of course he's still in a job. I mean, he's actually got a bunch of players who he doesn't know really from game to game who's actually going to be fit and healthy to play. So, I think he's in a job. Once they get all their players back actually fit and they get a full-strength team, if he carries on like this, then it might be a different answer that you get from me. But you can't actually judge him on the performances actually with the players he's got out at this moment in time.
He mentioned, Postecoglou, that it's the angriest he's ever been in his entire career.
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised because I came away from the game really, really angry. I mean, I go to see Spurs win, and don't get me wrong. Almost every single fan who goes to games want to see their teams win. What you don't want to see is the other team blatantly cheating all the time. I was looking after the game about the time wasting that Newcastle players did. Apart from things like, for example, in the second half, their players actually were going down like sack of potatoes. They had the trainer on 14 times. Every single time the trainer came on, he had to take the longest route actually back to where they came from rather than the shortest route off the pitch, which I thought they should do. Things like, for example, the goalkeeper law, I think it's 12.2 of the laws of the game states an indirect free kick is awarded if a goalkeeper controls the ball with a hand or arm for more than 6 seconds before releasing it. We counted it in the second times. The quickest he was nearly 25 seconds. Now, the time wasting actually got worse. Newcastle would get a corner. One of their players would actually walk very slowly across, go across, clap all the Newcastle fans, fair plays to him, before taking the corner. And about 30 seconds later, he might go and try and find the ball.
No, listen, I can hear your anger here, Richard. I can hear, and I can sort of, to a level, understand your frustration. But aside from the handball, these are just things that happen in football, aren't they? Yeah, the players taking their time. Are Newcastle particularly good at the dark arts? Are Newcastle particularly predisposed to using those dark arts? I don't necessarily think they are.
I don't think Newcastle are very good at the dark arts. What I do know is that referees are not clamping down on the time wasting. At the start of the 2023 season, referees were told that they would now be obliged to specifically time how long the game is stopped before the restart for game interruptions, including actual preparations for a place kick. Now, if you saw their keeper today, if he was going to take a goal kick, it would be again at least 30 seconds from the time the ball went out of play until the time actually came back into play. I don't blame Newcastle. It's about winning games. What I do blame is the actual officials. They're not enforcing the laws of the game.
Yeah, I can see how that's a frustration. I genuinely can, Richard. I do find that sort of thing frustrating. It is annoying. Yeah. But we also just have to look at what happened during the game. You didn't manage the game well. You allowed Newcastle back into the game. And, watching the game, it never really felt like Newcastle were in trouble. I know after Solanke's goal, you would have assumed that you'd be in the driving seat, but it never really felt like that. Did you not think that the result was always in jeopardy even when you were winning?
I think the result was always in jeopardy, mainly because if you look at our back four today, we had a left back who actually wasn't a left back. We had a centre back who actually wasn't a centre back. We had another centre back who clearly was not fit to play. He's actually got this sickness bug that's going round. And in the second half, we had a complete makeshift back four. The best that we could have hoped for today was to score more goals than them. But the thing is, if the ball was only in play for about 45 minutes out of the 90 minutes, because Newcastle, their players are falling over, the ball's going out of play, and they're ignoring the ball that's gone out of play and wait for another one, actually for another part of the pitch. It's disgraceful. Half of what I saw today is down to the referee. And as for the handball, I had a clear view of that. I can't see, and I know there's been a little bit of debate, but I cannot honestly see why that was not handball. I really cannot.
No, I do agree with you, Richard, and that was a great call. I do think that there are major problems in terms of the way that the referees are looking after certain situations, and I imagine that Clive, the Arsenal fan, will be thinking very similar along these lines. Clive, the penalty, talk to me. Do you believe that penalty should have been given with regard to João Pedro clashing heads with William Saliba?
Well, no. I mean, I do concur with what my fellow Spurs fan was saying there, bless him. The refs, you just don't know what's going to happen these days with the referee decisions, because I watched his game, and that was clearly a handball. He should never have been given a goal in Spurs, which is strange for an Arsenal fan to say, yes. But the only way Anthony Turnip and Chris Cabbage on VAR, they just love to dig it into Arsenal. They can't wait to give the only decision in the whole season that's going to go like that, like the kicking the ball away.
Yeah.
We've never seen anybody now yellow carded or sent off for kicking the ball. One of the Brighton players did it. I think it's just in the second half. Kick the ball away. Nothing happens. And it's another decision that the refs have made where you'll never see it again. But it's just because, I know I'm into victim mode now, but it seems to be an Arsenal thing. The delay in the game. We always get a player booked for delaying the game. Nobody else does.
Right, Clive, you're a Tottenham fan, did you say?
No. I was concurring with my fellow fan who was a Tottenham fan. Bless him.
Oh, right. And what? You're an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan. Right. Yes, I was saying it's odd for me to concur with him about that decision in this game today. Right.
But what did you think overall of that clash of heads that led to the penalty?
Well, it was a clash of heads, wasn't it? I mean, we see clashes all the time, which are like 50-50, and they're never given. But for some reason, Mr. Taylor thought that was a penalty. Yeah, I don't know why he thought.
What do you think it means long term here, Clive? Like in terms of your title aspirations, in terms of what?
I think they look dead on the feet today. They look completely out of puff completely. When Odegaard came on, he looked like he'd been up all night, being sick. Bless him. He looked drawn. We could do without the game on Tuesday. We could do with a week off. But obviously, it's an important game, isn't it, against Newcastle?
No, I do agree with you. I think it's a bad day for Arsenal. It's a bad couple of points to drop. And look, a draw at Brighton in a game in which I don't know. I suppose you're missing what? 4 of look. It's just not good enough. Regardless of what you think your aspirations are, it's not good enough. Do you feel like you're still in the title race, or have you conceded that to Liverpool?
I haven't conceded it yet. There's still plenty of time to go. I think it's got to get very creative very quickly in the transfer market, bring in a bit of fresh legs, especially up front. We look. I know we've scored a few goals recently, but we did look a bit sort of out of it today. We didn't really create a lot.
Well, if you are to hunt Liverpool down in this title race, it's got to basically be perfection from here on in, hasn't it?
Yes, we had to basically from before Christmas we had to win every game. So today it's got to go down as a failure. It's got to go down as a failure. You know, we can live in hope that Man United resurrect themselves tomorrow, can't we, and beat Liverpool 3-0. But I think I'm dreaming there.
Yeah, I mean, if that were to happen, you know, if Manchester United were to pull something out the bag, and they have done it fairly recently. If you think about what Liverpool did, or what Manchester United did to Liverpool in the FA Cup last season in that 4-3 game, there is a world where you know these fixtures are very unpredictable. If you were to make up a point on Liverpool this weekend, could you still dream of the title? It feels very optimistic to me, that.
I'm being optimistic. The optimism is sort of in the forefront at the moment. Until it's over, it's not over, is it? You just don't look at your guys. I mean, you were on fire up to December the 15th, like you said. All of a sudden, you've hit a wall.
I know. The slump, the Enzo Maresca slump that Leicester fans were warning us about, it does seem to be coming into effect. And we will be talking about Chelsea's slump and the fact that we haven't won a game since December the 15th. 4 very uninspiring results for Enzo Maresca's men, and we'll be delving into that in a little while. Arsenal fans, though, I do need to hear from you. 03717 223344. Are you simply dropping too many points now to win the title? And let me know what you think about that penalty decision, because initially, when I saw it, I felt like William Saliba went to head the ball. He missed the ball. He took the man there for penalty. But the more times I've watched it, the closer the angle, the more intricacies there are in this decision. I do understand why Arsenal fans would feel really aggrieved. Also, Liverpool fans, are you going into tomorrow's game against Manchester United buzzing after tonight's Arsenal result? Let me know what you think about that fixture. It's one of your biggest fixtures of the season, one of the biggest games that you're going to play this season. The country's 2 biggest clubs going head-to-head, and we're certainly going to focus on that in a little while. So Liverpool fans, Manchester United fans, give me a call, 03717 223344. Give me a ring right now, and we'll take more of your calls next here on the Rory Jennings Show on talkSPORT.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.